Hello everyone, I'm back, and it's been a long, hard day, but I got a lot done. So what I did is I cut off the back of, most of the back of the C2 Grand Sport. There's my alignment template that I used. It's seen better days. Again, I didn't make it very sturdy, and one of the reasons is because I'm doing all this by myself, and it's heavy enough just with the one layer of fiberglass. And it has some tears in it from getting it loose, and it's actually torn all the way through. I can put it back on there and patch it up. Not a big deal. Not sure if I'll need it or use it, but it's at least a rough mold, if you want to call it that. My goal was, I thought I was going to cut off the entire rear section, just like the gray replacement piece, but I ran into some issues, and those issues are the cross braces and the places where they use panel bond to bond the body to different structures. So you can see there's a rear inner fender here. It comes up to a certain point, and then the body rests on it, and it gets bonded to it all the way across there. The issue is that I couldn't get to the panel bond. You can see there's an L shape on the top of the bracket, and there was no way to get to the panel bond. I thought I was going to cut it along here. In fact, I did cut it along here. I thought I was going to separate it, but then when I tried to separate it, this panel kept it from separating. All right, so instead of doing that, I figured out where the inside of this panel was, and I cut it on the inside of that panel so that this section would cut off. Same thing here with this rear bulkhead. You can see it goes across here. It supports the thing all the way across. Again, it's L-shaped at the top, and they use panel bond to bond it. I tried to get the panel bond out from under the the roof, and it will come loose with heat and a putty knife, but it takes a lot of heat and a lot of patience. And so from that, I decided I was not going to sit there and spend hours and hours separating the panel bond there. Instead, I just cut it out. I had to do this funky little angle because of the vents. My goal is I want to use this rear section as a trailer. And so I wanted to keep it as intact as possible. Now, the advantage is I have a template. So the fact that I had to cut these into pieces isn't as big a deal, because all I have to do is put it back in the template, fiberglass it from the back side, and then fiberglass it on the outside to fix it. Same thing here. I had already cut all the way around the perimeter, but this needs to come off. The panel right there, I did cut the connector panels. I forget what they are called. Anyway, it'll come to me later. And I looked, and they're less than $200. So the amount of time I would spend trying to get that loose. Now that it's exposed, I can just come in here more easily and separate that, use the heat, whatever I need to do, cut it. I'm actually going to I tried cutting it with my multi-tool with a carbide bit, but it kept coming out. It wouldn't stay in between the two panels. It kept cutting the upper panel. So I said that won't work. So there's you can see that in some cases it's, anyway, I'm going to take these off and replace them. Same thing here. Yeah, if I turn this upside down, there's that connecting panel right there. You can see some old fiberglass from work they did. I won't comment on their fiberglass and metal work and all that. It worked, but I'm not impressed with it. We'll just put it that way. They did use metal, and they left the metal. So when I come over here, you can see that there's some of the metal that shouldn't have been left. It should have been taken off and replaced with fiberglass. Rivets still in there. So while this would have been a short-term fix, it definitely wouldn't have been a long-term fix. So this car will be drastically improved. There you can see that connecting panel right here that connects the upper panel here to the bottom panel here, and I just ended up cutting it just to get the panels off. All right, so if we look, here is the lower section, basically is what the trunk would be on the new one. The trunk wouldn't be nearly so wide, but that is basically the trunk section. And again, the trunk stops at that bulkhead right there. So if you look underneath there, there's a channel where that bulkhead goes in. And then here's the other part. And again, this is why I had to cut that little wing piece out. I wanted to keep these vents intact, just because I didn't want to have to cut them and splice them and redo them later for my trailer. All right, so I am going to show you, this is the new piece. It won't go in place because of this right here. It's that little bit makes all the difference in the world. And there is an inner support right there. And that inner support is still here. Again, that's the one I was talking about. I tried to get off by using a heat gun and a putty knife, and also my vibrating, oscillating tool, whatever you want to call it. So that's for another day because it's late and I'm tired. Okay, so I'm going to do this. This may or may not work because everything's really slick. I, put wax on stuff and PVA, so everything slides real easy. Okay, so there's the bulkhead, and there's actually a channel underneath here that bulkhead goes in. There's the edge where the trunk goes. There we go. Now, once I get it here, it's okay, but every other time it slid down on me. So you can see that that's pretty much where it goes. It's just not low enough, but it's at the right location. Let me get back so you can get a better view. Right there. So it's pretty close. Again, the template's going to put it exactly in place, and these pieces right here that you can see is keeping it from going exactly in place. I purposely left a little bit of extra. Get around here. It's a little tight in here. Even though I got rid of the 818, those of you that haven't noticed, the 818 used to sit right here. It was really tight with it here. So you can see that this pretty much follows. Again, I left a little bit of overlap there. I'm not sure if I'll put that under or over or whatever. Don't know why they didn't make this new part, another couple of inches taller, because now I've got to fix this. That vent shouldn't be there on the grand support. So like I said, I don't know why they didn't go ahead and extend it. You can see I cut it. I left about a half, 3/4, maybe an inch overlap right there, so I can figure out whether I want to put it under it or over it or what I want to do. But making progress, making a lot of progress. So one of the reasons I stopped was I was going to get this. This is an inner support panel right here. It's two separate pieces that are bonded together. And I was thinking I would need that to figure out what to cut out under there, but I have a funny feeling once I get under there now, it's going to be obvious what to cut out. Let's see what else. I think that's it. So one of the issues, I said something about them leaving metal. They actually left metal on these stupid vents. So when I was using my oscillating cutting tool, it actually hit the metal somewhere along here. I can't remember exactly where, but you can tell when you hit metal, it makes a completely different sound. So they kind of did that same metal thing that they did on other parts of the car. It would have been nice if they would have taken the metal out, but they didn't. Let's see what the bottom side of this looks like. All right, the bottom side of this looks like it's all factory, which makes sense. It should be. And then the bottom side of this, I'm not going to pull this out. Let me go. I'm curious. You can see that's where they kind of patched that. And there's the piece of the panel, connecting panel. All right, let's pull this out. Flip it over. And you can see the two sides aren't identical. There's some kind of vent. I know I'm going to drop this thing. Not a big deal. It's just for a trailer, but I'd rather not drop stuff. Sorry about the camera work. Let me just lay it down. All right. So this is the inside of that, which there's the inside of that one that's identical. This is that separate piece I was talking about, the support piece. And then there's some kind of vent and drain. This is on the driver's side. So I don't know why they have this on the driver's side, not on the passenger side, but it's there. Anyway, that's what I've done today. I basically, for those of you that remember me destroying my C8 with a sawzall, I could have used the sawzall on this for drama, but instead I used my oscillating tool, vibrating multi-tool, and I got this thing. Like I said, I'm getting there. The front end, hopefully you've seen, I've got it done, painted. It got damaged moving it around, so I've got to do some repair work. The hood I am working on now. All of these parts were damaged. They've been in storage for 10 years or something, and you know how stuff is in storage, it gets damaged. So the hood's got some damage I've got to repair. The lower spoiler I've sanded both of those to get the gloss off of the gel coat. And then the next thing is to fix the damage and then prime it and paint it. Let's see. I think that's got it. So, like, subscribe, hit the alert, hit the thanks if you want to donate. And if you don't like what I'm doing, you don't jack. Bye.